What's the most hurtful thing you've overheard about yourself by accident? Went out to a bar with some friends for a birthday party for my ex-girlfriend. She really messed me up when she left me. Like really bad. But I was trying to be nice since she invited me, so I figured I'd go out and be there for a drink or two. So, a mutual friend who had been broken up with a few days before and was there. So as I made the rounds, I talked to her and tried to do whatever I could to let her know it would be okay. I'm no therapist. But I did my best, ya know. I knew what a bad breakup felt like. As I was also going through one. So I tried to help. Anyways, after I left the table, I overheard her talking to my ex at the bar about me trying to give her advice, and she said, "Well, nobody has ever loved him, so what does he know about any of this?" And they started laughing. Don't think they know I heard. But I grabbed my coat immediately and took a long walk home. I don't need people like that in my life. Haven't willingly seen either of them since. Good call. Frick those people. Frick them both. You deserve so much better than that toxicity. You're better off without people like them in your life. From what I can see, they don't deserve you as a friend anyways. Good for you. Sorry you had to hear that. Overheard my mom telling my aunt that she hated me as a person. I was 13. My mom did similar. I was 14 and she told me, "I've never loved you." I was lying. Remember this day in the future. I could never love you. Gee, thanks ma. Real healthy. We both love each other, but in the heat of the moment I think we as humans forget just what lasting effect our words can have. I'm so very sorry you had to deal with hearing this. Have you kept a decent relation with your mom, or did it sour? It seems like you didn't remember that day. When I was in middle school art class, something funny happened and I let out a loud laugh. I then overheard one of my childhood best friends whisper to another person, "God, I hate Trader 2488's laugh." I immediately looked at him and said, "What?" And he just looked down at the table like he didn't hear me. This actually made me change my laugh. It's completely different from what it used to be. I didn't know it's possible to change your laugh. I changed my laugh to jokingly mock a close friend, and at some point it happened so much that I forgot my own unique laugh. Now I laugh like that arsehole. Now I'm the arsehole. I'm a mimic laugher. I'll naturally take on others' laughs in conversation. I hate it. But can't help it. My grandparents whispering at the table about how terrible I am and how I'm a real mess. Then acted all normal and cozy to me. I was 14. Been there. This is the worst. I think most of us were a real mess as young teens. 14 is a confusing age. I actually had my shiz together back then. I don't now at age 19. In a reverse. My grandma was Japanese and I'm a girl, so she hated my guts and basically ignored my existence for the entire time I knew her, 19 years. When she died, a lot of her church friends at the funeral came up to me and talked about how much she loved me and how she'd talk about me almost every day. I was like, WTF. I was copied into an email conversation where about 10 messages earlier one of my employees had described me as an idiot and suggested to the recipients that they didn't get me involved in the situation they were discussing. I'd always thought we got on well and it knocked my confidence. It sounds like one of your employees wanted you to know about the shiz talk and the situation. It sucks to hear crappy things, but I think someone was actually looking out for you. Don't underestimate how stupid people are at using Outlook. Every week I get invites to random meetings followed by, "Please disregard previous email." I was trying to add the meeting to my calendar and accidentally invited every single employee worldwide. Yeah, find the one that cared and keep them closer. I had just moved into my dorm for my second year of college. My roommate was my best friend since 9th grade. My stuff hadn't arrived yet. And it was my time to register. So I asked him if I could use his computer. He said sure. I sat down. And he had AIM open to a conversation with another friend of ours. I didn't scroll up. But from what was just visible on screen, They were talking about how weird I was and how awful it would be rooming with me. I closed it so he wouldn't realize later I'd seen it, registered, and left. We still lived together that year. But we didn't hang out at all. We just cohabited. I never asked him to hang out as friends. He never asked me. Move out day that year was the last time we spoke. That was over 10 years ago. We chatted every day for 6 years. Then haven't spoken since. I still don't know if I did or said something to flip how he felt about me. Or if he never really liked me to begin with. The possibility of the latter really fucks up your future friendships. Hell, the former does too, knowing apparently you're capable of unknowingly saying or doing something to throw away a 5-year friendship. I've been kinda messed up the last 7 mths because my BFF of 15 years just stopped talking to me. Don't know if I did something wrong or what. We live in different states but talked 5 days a week and visited often. All of a sudden she stopped answering when I called. Who does that to a person they've supposedly cared about? Definitely makes me question a lot of things. How good of a friend I am. How I choose friends. Do I attract shizzy people? Made me isolate myself further over the summer. Why even try to have friends? My dog likes me. I'll stick with that. Everyone I'd invited to my first sleepover laughing while reading my diary entries about how my dad had been abusing me. I'd left the room and one had gone snooping. It was worse when they wouldn't stop or give it back when I burst in and pleaded with them to. Then everyone laughed even harder. That was the first and last time I wrote anything real like that in a diary. Holy shiz. That is brutal. I hope they also have that memory and now with the developed worldview of an adult lay awake in bed at night over it. This is kind of what I was wondering, are those girls, who are now grown adults, impacted in any way from their past actions? It would be great to think that maybe that looked back and were able to learn from that situation. Learn how not to be an asshole. This tore me up to read. I'm so sorry all this happened. I hope you're getting the help you need. Red heart. Very far away from those days in both years and healing. Thankfully. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Middle school I got bullied badly. Kids went into my desk and found my poetry journal. Mocked and laughed at poems I wrote to reflect how I was feeling suicidal. They then ripped it up. The teacher just told me not to bring personal things to school. And it was my fault. I know it's not quite the same but internet hug to you less than 3. As a middle school teacher I must say. Frick your teacher. Overheard someone saying they didn't want to work with me. I don't know why. Considering I barely knew them. It definitely hurt though. I've had this happen at my work as well. Plus people saying I'm a frick up. I've only fricked up things that everyone else has admitted to also fucking up before. I'm under the impression all my coworkers are just dicks because I try to keep to myself. Do my work and go home. They always talk shiz about the cars I buy and bring to work too. I don't understand why. It's none of their business what I do in my free time. I buy and sell cars. I have new to me cars every other week. They tell me I'm an idiot for buying them. But I'm just doing the maintenance and cleaning them up to sell them for a profit. And maybe make someone happy and sell them their dream car. They're probably jealous cunts cause you actually have a cool hobby that you make work for you. Glad to hear they haven't affected you. I think this was 9th grade. A girl I had a crush on. But hadn't really talked to at all. Was moving away. A few days before she moved I overheard her saying, "Yeah, I'll miss pretty much everyone. But I'll tell you one person I won't miss, Sanskrit. That kinda sucked. If it makes you feel any better." In middle school I asked out a boy I liked on the 1st of April. He said yes. Then I still proceeded to say April Fools. Didn't pan out too well. I don't know what made me think being a jackass would make him fall for me, but Zach, if you're out there, I'm so terribly sorry. A girl I really liked at the time asked me out to a dance and I laughed at her because I thought she must have been joking. But she was not joking. She said she was hurt that I thought she was joking. But for some god-awful reason I never corrected the situation. TBH, I'm pretty sure now 10 plus years later she still thinks I wasn't into her. Heard my mom complain about the Christmas gift I gave her a few years back. Seems small but IDK it just hurt. I used to make my mom gifts when I was a kid. One time I made my mom this cup thing in elementary school and gave it to her for her anniversary, and the next day I found it in the trash can. That's terrible. I realize now that my parents put a lot of the things I made them in a special place, which was actually a closet, because they really were hideous arts and crafts gifts. But they never threw them away and I still felt like they appreciated them. The nicer ones were displayed on the bar or fridge. That's really fricked up. I'm so sorry. That's so sad. I remember when my kid was in kindergarten and they came running out with their latest creations, proud as anything. One of the moms looked at hers, a Christmas table decoration, and said, "Well, that'll go straight in the bin." I felt so sorry for her child. Ours of course blessed the table until it disintegrated. Just 5 minutes ago, my coworker told me my other coworker told her she'd quit immediately if I got hired onto the position they're currently at. Up until this point, I thought this girl and I were best friends. I even shared my Netflix password with her. That bitch. Hope you changed the password. It's one of the first things I did after hearing it. Alternative suggestion: get the job. Then go up to her and say you expect her to live up to her word. I went to school with a black eye and busted nose from my dear old dad. Child Services was called to do a home check. My dad and mom told the worker I'd done it to myself and I was suicidal, and that I'd written in my diary that I wanted to kill my little brother. I didn't even have a diary, and of all the people I was close to, my little brother was one. It got me a black eye and an involuntary stay in a locked ward. I bailed ASAP. This one really breaks my heart. I hope you and your little brother are doing well today. Yeah. He was so little he doesn't really remember those times. Well, he was a younger toddler then. Growing up I fought and begged for him to never see that man after he took off, but 13-year-old boys know it all. I'll never forget the day he phoned me saying I was right about Dad all those years. I just said I know. I'm sorry that Child Protection didn't take the situation seriously. They could have saved you a lot of pain by conducting a far more thorough investigation and listening to your side of the story. I hope you are in a process of healing. X.